Hi and welcome to a new series that we're trying out here at Stroud Brewery called Organic Heroes. Today we're hanging out with John Walker, who's an absolute legend in the organic hop growing world. We're going to chat about the ups, downs and everything in between when it comes to growing organically. From ditching pesticides to boosting wildlife, this one's all about farming that's good for the planet. Let's get into it. What inspired you to go organic?
I think honestly it was when I was at Cirencester and we had a lecture from Vic Hughes and he pointed out all the negatives and things, and at the end of it, he said, "But they're actually doing all right."
Nice.
and that and the fact that we were pushed into it a bit, I think, from the fact that grain prices were very poor at the time, and so that wasn't doing very well. So I was looking for something else to do, and that fitted at our farm that we slotted into. And then at the time, we were supplying Hereford beef into Waitrose, and they asked us would we be interested in supplying organic beef, and they just brought in some financial help to convert from conventional to organic, and all these things sort of came together, and so it's part push, part pull really. I didn't really know what I was doing or what I was getting into, but, but I went to 1-2 meetings and they were discussing it and talking about it, and went from there really.
What challenges and rewards do you encounter in growing organically?
Among aphids and
I think the rewards are that you're closer to the market, so you get, as today, you get to meet people you're supplying much more than you do when you're conventional hopping, not hops particularly, but conventional farmer, you're supplying a commodity and you don't get to meet your market. I like the fact that I don't have to keep having somebody else tell me what to do or how to grow my crops, or I don't have an agronomist. Basically, sometimes you're just a third party working for somebody else, aren't you? They turn on the farm every fortnight, they tell you what to do and you do it. So there's that side of it. I like not using pesticides and fertiliser, that's very nice. But of course you also have risks, so if you get something go wrong, then there's nothing you can do about it. But it's also, I like the fact that we seem to have a lot of wildlife on the farm. I don't know if we have more wildlife than other people or not, but we do have quite a lot of wildlife.
Yeah. Can you share any special techniques or practices that you've used, or is that a secret?
No, we do all the time. We have meetings. We hop meetings. We talk to other people. But some of what we do is relative to other people, and some things we've done, and that's true of all organic really, has been taken up within the conventional. Everybody's trying to grow things with less effort and less money, aren't they? So, and I think some things we do, such as we've been using predators to control red spider for years now. We don't have a choice, so that's what we use, and other people are now looking at that much harder because the pesticides are either not available or they're not licensed in the UK or they're very expensive. But you are playing with fire, because if they get away from you, then you've got a real problem. You could lose a crop. So it isn't quite a leap of faith.
Other than pesticides, what are the key differences between organic and conventional hop farming?
It would be the fact that we are not growing monoculture.
Yeah.
Really, there's a huge number of weeds, and that brings in all insects, and it must help the soils and things.
Yeah.
And certainly even some of the conventional farmers are growing things over winter to try and improve their soil structure through the winter and so forth. And we're not putting the pesticides on the ground, which they're supposed to have to help.
Yeah, fair.
But quite often in organic agriculture you replace a pesticide with cultivation. But for us, we I think we just rely on nature. So we're picking varieties which are more resistant, which, as you say, give us slightly less. We don't just pick the one which has the best flavour. We have to pick what we can grow. Yeah. And it's very often the ones that have the strongest flavour we can't grow. Yeah. Which is irritating for you.
But then, like we saw today, there are some which have that really nice aroma, which you can grow, which is
huge. Well, we hope so. We haven't grown them long enough to know. It's because we've only just got the endeavour in the ground, so we don't really know whether we can grow them for a long time or not. And we don't know. We saw those ones, that first row of Peters. Now they look quite disease resistant, don't they? And they're very small hops. So we don't know if we get a yield off them that was big enough to justify if they were financial. So the other day, it has to pay, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. In terms of managing pests and diseases organically, obviously you're not using any synthetic chemicals and stuff. Is there a specific predator that you get in more often than others, or?
Well, we obviously, if we have red spider, we can buy in phytocelias, but they don't survive from one year to the next.
Ah, right.
But I think with time, we've certainly found with time, predators come in and then they will stay in, and then we don't have because they'll carry on feeding them after you've harvested. They'll keep eating them, and so they get less coming out next spring.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
With both predators, it's about creating an environment they want to live in. So we try and grow flowers to attract anthocorids and
Yeah.
all these other things that they come to, and then they lay their eggs, and then they feed on the aphids and so forth. So
And in terms of those flowers and things that you grow, are you thinking just about the predators there, or are you also thinking about the soil health as well?
I think what we're doing down there is both.
Yeah.
Yes, undoubtedly both. So we've got the clovers there that are hopefully setting some nitrogen, and they're also deep-rooted ones, so they're hopefully through the soil profile rather than just on the surface. And they're also, because they grow such a volume, we can top that off, and that'll also take up food for worms and so forth. So
Yeah.
we hope to be improving the whole thing,
Yeah.
as long as we don't starve the crop at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
The next thing, if we need it, might be to put some irrigation in.
Okay, yeah.
Along the row, so we've got enough water, because the biggest problem with all these plants is they take away the moisture,
Yeah.
and then the hops can't grow because they haven't got moisture,
Hmm.
and they are very thirsty, those things.
Yeah. So I guess, that kind of answers my next question as well, which was, apart from like the predators and the soil health, how do you ensure consistency? Like,
I think picking varieties that we can grow is
Yeah.
the most important thing, because if we haven't got a variety we can grow, then we're always going to lose. And we've had several false starts. We grew one called Merlin, which was a lovely hop, and I think you had some.
we did, yeah. We used that it was one of our winter.
Yeah,
No, it's a
that's
nice
what- I
hop.
think it was.
Yes, yeah, it was really
that's
good.
what I was
Good.
remembering.
Yeah, fair.
We couldn't stop the mould.
Yeah.
So we had an acre or more, but we had to grub it. So the area that you saw down there with the bales on,
Yeah.
that was Merlin.
Oh,
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And we had to grub that because we just couldn't control the mould, which is expensive and frustrating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the trials, was it presenting as something that would be resistant?
Well, we didn't trial it for long enough.
Oh,
We were
right.
too much of a hurry, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
And I asked other people, so yeah, you should be fine. And in conventional trials it was fine, but in organic trials it wasn't. Which is
Yeah.
why I want to take a bit more time over these current trials and give them a couple of years of different seasons. Because
Makes sense.
this year we're suffering from downy mildew, and some have got downy mildew, haven't they?
Yeah.
But some will get to picking. So even if you get a bit of late downy mildew, they've got to picking, so you can harvest them. But if they get early, or if they're particularly prone to something else, then they're no good to us.
So how do you see the future of organic hop farming evolving? Do you see it becoming like more popular, or do you think that?
So it entirely depends on the market. It all depends on how interested the next generation are. It's such a long-term thing that you've got to think of a sort of 10-year period, really, at least, to be worth doing.
Yeah.
I should be 70 then. I don't know if I want to be doing it. So,
No, fair enough. Yeah. Yeah.
So that is the next issue, really.
Yeah.
Mm.
But do you think with the way soil health is going, that the next generation will be more inclined to get into organic farming, or?
Oh, I couldn't answer for everybody else. I think at the moment they're all tied up with the regen, aren't they? And there's a lot of enthusiasm behind regen farming.
Do you not think that regen is organic?
Well, it isn't. I mean,
Or organic is regen?
Oh yes, I think organic.
Sorry, wrong way around. Yeah.
Yes, I mean, obviously, organic farming will use a plough,
Hmm.
and conventional farming would use Roundup.
Yeah.
So that's the big difference when it comes. You're talking about arable thing now.
Yeah.
But the Roundup replaces the plough, doesn't it? And obviously we can't use Roundup.
No. Yeah. Fair.
But we wouldn't be ploughing every year either, because we'd be on a rotation. So you'd have a grass lay and a clover lay in the rotation, and then you might plough 2 or 3 times. But so you can build the humus up in the soil, but even so, every time you plough it, you're destroying all that links and things, aren't you?
Yeah.
I'm no expert on it, but
No, fair. Me neither.
but in the hop rows, obviously we can't plough it in the hop rows. So if we do cultivate, we disc and rotivate and things, so we're not cultivating deep.
Yeah.
But the rotivate is best in killing out the grass. Then you can plant some seeds. So we generally speaking would cultivate in the spring and plant some phycelia and things down the rows, which flower, I don't know, 10, 12 weeks later, to attract predators. And that has the advantage of killing off the grass in that early summer, which is so competitive.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
Okay. Yeah.
But this year, and so we didn't do it this year because it's very time consuming.
Yeah.
And I think I'd like to try not doing it, but I think if we're not doing it, we might have to look at putting irrigation in to make up for the fact the grass is nicking most of the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Because when it rains, the hop roots are quite deep, and the water doesn't get that far.
You
Yeah.
have to hope for a rainy year as well, I guess, if you were to do it.
We don't know what we're in for, do we? When we do know, it's going to be less predictable.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, last year we got washed out. I mean, last year, it started raining last year, about the middle of May, and didn't stop until I don't know, May this year. You couldn't make hay last year. It was impossible. You
Yeah.
know, even silage. It just rained and rained
Yeah.
all summer.
They
And then the
can't
year
tell.
before that, we were in a drought.
Yeah, true.
2 summers ago.
Yeah.
But,
I was speaking to Chris Maltings about it at BRX, and they were saying the same thing, that even like, you know, malt is really struggling with all this wet weather now, because it's just flooding the fields, and they just can't grow at all. Like, yeah.
Well, it was actually, it's turned out to be a really good summer for growing spring crops, but it was late planted, and of course now they need to harvest it. But spring crops have been better than anybody dared hope, because the winter crops were very poor summer.
Yeah.
do you get any spent malt to feed your livestock?
No, because it has to be organic, and
You should get it from us.
I would love to
Yeah.
get it from you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we should. That would certainly complete the circle, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So what do you do with it then?
We give it to farmers.
Yeah.
we give it
Yeah.
to farmers.
A lot of it does go to farms.
Yeah, I think it all goes to farmers.
Oh, there we
I
go,
don't
But,
think
yeah.
it
but
is-
the thing, it's quite heavy and bulky, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
it's
it's
the
wet.
transporting it, I guess.
It is
yeah.
the transport's the issue.
Fit in the back of your Toyota.
Yeah. Fit in
One-
back
one
of
in
your,
the back,
fit in
one
back
on
of your
top.
van.
Yeah.
But it'd be worth more to us than it would be to your next door neighbouring ordinary farmer,
Yes,
because
exactly.
he can buy non-organic food,
Yeah.
whereas we have to buy organic food, which is much more expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they could just pop down to Johnv Brewery and do the exact same thing with them, but it would just be non-organic malt.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
an organic farmer would, yeah, like yourself, would benefit much
We
more.
can't use non-organic
No,
malt,
exactly,
honestly.
yeah.
Yeah, buzzards. Yeah,
Cool.
buzzards. Yeah.
Do you get kites around here?
We do.
Yeah.
Not many, but
Yeah.
there was one here yesterday, fun enough. We get 1 or 2 about.
Yeah.
If you put amazing things, kites, because if you start a mower up, they seem to either hear it or see it, and you'll end up with half a dozen in the field in minutes
Yeah.
Right.
after chopping up moles or vice or things. So.
Yeah.
We also get goshawks.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. We see the occasional peregrine, but we're too wooded for peregrine really.
Yeah.
But goshawks we get quite a few. They're the apex.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, those and ravens are the 2 apex predators.
That must be a nice little extra as well to organic farming, is having all this wildlife around.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I suspect our neighbours have got it as well, who are not organic.
Yeah, true, yeah.
But it's part of the area we live in. But
Yeah.
Yes, I think it makes it a pleasant place to live, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much.
pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
It's been
And,
good fun.
Pleasure.
yeah.
Take the best bottle of Perry if you like.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Keep
cheers.
it upright and don't shake it.
No
because,
shaking.
This stuff will.
And that's it for this episode of Organic Heroes. Big shout out to John for showing us how organic farming can be done. If you're into sustainability and making a positive impact, then stick around because there's plenty more where that came from. Until next time.